There are so many different words we can use to describe the Land Cruiser's greatness, and whatever words we choose, it won't be an overstatement. Because for more than 7 decades, this off-roader has been proving to us again and again and again that there is no place in the world it can't get you to. If you're from the Middle East or Africa, you know very well how this sentence ends, but this is not the place where we are going to make fun of that other off-roader. No. This is a video about the most iconic Toyota nameplate and its much anticipated comeback to North America. This is the video about the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser, the latest iteration that has the potential to become one of the best LC series ever made. Buckle up, because we are starting right now. The first couple of decades in Land Cruiser's history were pretty simple. This was a rugged and extremely capable off-roader with one pretty specific characteristic. It didn't want to break. The LC was the king of deserts, savannas, mountains, and other no-asphalt environments. And after a while, lawyers, doctors, and businessmen realized that they would also like to have one of these, but they wanted it to be more refined and more luxurious. As a logical outcome, the so-called comfort-oriented Land Cruiser was created. After a few generations of such a Land Cruiser, things went too far logically. The LC became so luxurious that it killed itself, at least in North America. Eventually, it ended up being more expensive than similarly sized Mercedes-Benz GLS or Land Rover models, something that an average American buyer wasn't able to understand. Eventually, the demand almost vanished, and a few years ago, we weren't much surprised when Toyota announced that the next generation 300 series won't be coming to North America. But we were still missing the good old unfailing Land Cruiser, so Toyota decided to try something simpler, something less luxurious, and more focused on off-road performance. They decided to bring back the nameplate, but based on a smaller Land Cruiser that comes with the Prado moniker in many parts of the world. Codenamed J250, it replaces the J150, a light-duty Land Cruiser that's been popular around the world for nearly 14 years. We think that the biggest quality of the new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser will be its more straightforward design compared to the super expensive 200 series. It will feature a simpler and more straightforward design and therefore a significantly lower sticker price. But does this mean it is going to compromise off-road performance? Not at all, because that straightforward design approach is based on Toyota's contemporary GAF platform, the same one that underpins models like Tundra and Sequoia, as well as the upcoming next-generation Tacoma. But just like the J150, the J250 will have most things in common with the Lexus GX, which is also coming completely redesigned very soon. So when we compare the new Land Cruiser to the discontinued 200 series, one of the key differences is the suspension setup. As a significantly cheaper vehicle, it's obvious that the new generation won't feature KDSS, but on the other hand, it will still feature a pretty refined suspension setup with a double wishbone at the front and multi-link rear suspension, the makeup for the absence of an advanced mechanical kinetic dynamic suspension system, which was able to disconnect the stabilizer bar once it feels unequal hydraulic pressure. The new LC relies rather on electronics and features an electronic disconnecting front anti-roll bar. Other off-road essentials are also there, including massive underbody protection, a 2-speed transfer case, a mechanically locking center differential, and a limited slip rear differential. When compared to the previous J150 and therefore the outgoing Lexus GX, the 2024 Land Cruiser benefits from significantly increased rigidity. The new model features a 50% stiffer frame, while the overall stiffness of the combined frame and body goes up by 30%. The new generation also features notably bigger dimensions, which come pretty close to the full-size 200 series. The wheelbase is practically the same, and with a total length of 193.7 inches, it turns out that the new 2024 Land Cruiser is just 1.2 inches shorter than the full-size predecessor. Even the width of 78 inches is practically the same as in the case of LC200. However, despite all the efforts, Japanese engineers weren't able to compensate for everything. There are still a few drawbacks when compared to the old model. For example, the ground clearance is a little bit lower and now goes around 8.7 inches. Of course, this leads to a little bit lower approach angle, but thanks to the shorter rear overhang, the departure angle is actually better, just like the breakover angle. The bigger drawback is actually the max towing capacity, which is limited to 6,000 pounds. That's a big step back when you remember that the old model was able to tow more than 8,000 pounds. Another thing worth mentioning is that this will be the first Land Cruiser to feature an electric power steering system. The officials promise smoother steering on rough terrain, but more importantly, this allows the implementation of Toyota's latest safety systems, including lane tracing assist. Speaking of safety features, the new Land Cruiser will feature the latest Safety Sense 3.0 suite of driver assistance features. The new 2024 Land Cruiser will feature half the cylinders of the previous model, but it will feature way more torque and way better fuel efficiency. And no, we are not talking about the well-known 2.8-liter turbo diesel. That engine will remain reserved for European and Australian markets. The North American market version will feature a hybrid powertrain based on a 2.4-liter Turbo 4 gas engine. It's the same setup that will power the new Tacoma with a combined output of 326 horsepower. That's less power compared to the old V8, but on the other hand, the max torque goes all the way up to 465 pound-feet, which is a massive improvement over the V8's 401 pound-feet. Just like in the new Tacoma, the hybrid system will come coupled with an 8-speed automatic transmission. And, as we already mentioned, the new LC will come standard with full-time 4-wheel drive, a 2-speed transfer case, and a couple of lockers. The most obvious improvement is expected in terms of fuel efficiency. The old V8 was good for no more than 13 miles per gallon in the city and 17 miles per gallon, and that's why we expect nothing less than a monumental improvement. It's still early for the exact numbers, but we believe that with this setup, the new Land Cruiser can easily go above 25 miles per gallon on the highway, if not even higher. With the massive help from the electric motor, the city economy shouldn't be much lower either. In terms of interior design, we are once again referring to the discontinued 200 series, which featured pretty impressive interior quality, but that model featured a starting price of $86,000, so such an upscale cabin was kinda expected. The new model, on the other hand, is a class below in every aspect, and that reflects the cabin design as well. From what we can see, the cabin looks pretty similar to Toyota's most recent design solutions found in Tundra and Sequoia, though we are pretty sure that the quality of materials and attention to detail will be at a higher level. The actual level of luxury will depend on the trim level, so let's take a look at the Land Cruiser's range. Base models will come with the 1958 designation, and that model will be quite basic in some aspects. For example, it will feature cloth upholstery instead of leather, while the seats will be manually adjustable. Moreover, this version will feature an 8-inch infotainment screen, which is actually smaller compared to the old 9-inch unit. But despite the smaller size, it features Toyota's latest software, which includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, among other tech features. On the outside, the Land Cruiser 1958 pays tribute to the original model and therefore features round headlights, while other notable styling details are LED fog lights, 18-inch wheels, and 245/70 all-season tires. The mid-range version is simply called Land Cruiser, and it brings more modern rectangular LED headlights and features bolder fog lights. Furthermore, it comes with different 18-inch wheels with bigger 265/70 all-season tires, while you can also opt for bigger 20-inch wheels if you're looking for a more stylish appearance. On the inside, you will find a more luxurious interior, with leather upholstery, power-adjustable seats that are also heated and ventilated, as well as a bigger 12.3-inch infotainment screen. Moreover, you can also opt for the premium package that adds things like upgraded upholstery, head-up display, sunroof, 14-speaker JBL audio system, etc. The first edition will sit at the top of the range, once again with a good portion of vintage details. Round LED lights are there, just like rock rails, roof rack, and exclusive front skid plate, while a couple of old-school details like mud flaps and rear door guard make the SUV look even cooler. Unfortunately, the first edition will come in a pretty limited series, as only 5,000 units will be delivered to North America. According to the officials, the first deliveries of the North American Land Cruiser will start in the first quarter of 2024. As for the price, we expect that the base model will go around $55,000. What do you think about the all-new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser? Is this the right formula for success on the North American continent? Can the hybrid-powered Land Cruiser be as bulletproof as its predecessors? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.